What's up, everybody? We are live at 5. It's Friday, May 22nd. I'm Paul Wontorek.
I'm Beth Stevens.
And we're joined by Caitlin Moynihan.
Whoa!
No exposed brick today. New corner.
We have a new location today.
New corner of the sky. I'm into it. Hey, you guys. I don't know if you noticed, but I put a blazer on. And a dress shirt. So yesterday I put a blazer on for Heidi Blickenstaff because she's doing really good charity work. And I felt like a schlub. But I thought today I put a dress shirt on. Why did I put a dress shirt on, Beth? Who's here that we love?
You know who's here? The most lovable man on Broadway, Danny Burstein.
Yes.
Of Moulin Rouge fame.
Yes. Cue the applause.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We love him. There's not much news to talk about, but let's do it anyway. Let's talk about the news.
We got a little taste of falsetto land in quarantine. Or Matilda.
Which one?
Sorry.
Okay, let's do Matilda first.
This is Matilda.
This is Matilda. Those are not 4 Jews in a room bitching. That is the cast of Matilda.
I pressed the wrong button, Beth. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry.
That's okay. From London, the West End cast of the Royal Shakespeare Company production at the Cambridge Theatre. Paul, we always stay right there. We're always walking by the Matilda Theatre when we go to London.
That's right.
And it's such a great show. And
remember when I thought Shelley Long was in it?
Well, sometimes the Miss Honey wig can look very Shelley Long, circa Cheers 1980.
There was that actress looked like Shelley Long on the side of the theater.
So anyway, the person playing Miss Honey right now is Gina Beck, and she joined the cast, especially the youngsters in the cast, to sing "When I Grow Up." And it's just the most moving song. It just really touches you. And to see them all with their headphones on in quarantine out there in London or wherever those kids are is great. So check that out. And see a lot of kids singing with their cute little British accents about when they grow up.
Can I throw a little random thing in here that's totally unrelated? There's a TV show on, speaking of British people.
Sure, why not?
That's what you remind me of British people. There's a new TV show on Apple Plus I really like called Trying. And one of the stars is Rafe Spall. Am I saying his name right? Remember he was in Betrayal?
Yeah.
But there's this amazing performance in it, and it took me a while to realize it was Imelda Staunton. So anyway,
Imelda.
Yeah, who we saw in Gypsy. Yeah. She's fantastic. So anyway, if you're bored this weekend, try out Trying if you signed up for Apple Plus,
or just watch that When I Grow Up video. Much faster.
Sure, it's free.
Yes, and this is more than 4 Jews in a room, but not all together.
Okay, so this is a fun new viral video. It reunited the national touring cast of Falsettos. I saw that national tour. That was good. Max von Essen, Nick Adams, Eden Espinosa, Nick Blameyer, Audrey Cardwell, and Brianna Marie Parham. And they do a day in Falsetto Land. Right? Can you hear me, Beth? You can't hear me? Okay. And Chip Zion. Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Danny can hear me, as long as Danny can hear me. Chip Zion, who of course is Mendel. He's a very famous Mendel.
His name is Mendel.
Right, exactly. And Max Grossman pulled this all together, and it's for the Actors Fund, and he did that Into the Woods. Remember the Into the Woods prologue video that we premiered a while ago? Yeah, it's fantastic. So anyway, it's just some fun musical things to enjoy while we're all
and there's some serious acting happening in that falsetto video, so check it out.
I didn't watch it yet, but I've seen those actors, and I'm sorry, Beth. I've been very busy. We're pulling together a Tony special.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Anyway, so those are things. That's all the news. The news. Is that all the news? Sorry, I have to find my spot.
It's also a long weekend, so we won't see people until
it's Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. That's exciting. Okay. Caitlin, I'm going to have you give a proper introduction to today's guest.
Oh my gosh. Guys, he doesn't even need an introduction. I'm going to give you guys a quick one. Anyway, we have Mr. Danny Burstein here with us today as our last guest of the week for Live at 5 Home Edition, live on both Facebook and YouTube. Mr. Danny Burstein has 18 Broadway credits to his name. He has 6 Tony Award nominations. He is very fancy. And right now, well, not right now, but most recently, guys, he has been with Moulin Rouge. Here he is, looking amazing as Harold Zidler. He's been there since the world premiere run at Boston's Emerson Colonial Theater, and now they're playing on the Broadway right before all of this. So we're going to talk all about Danny and how he's doing, what's going on. You guys can follow him on social at Danny Burr. Leave all of your questions in the comments below, and please welcome Danny and Paul.
There he is.
Hey,
there he is.
how's it going?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
18, is that right? 28, 38, what is it?
I'm very old, yes.
You're not. You actually have pulled that off in a good, clean amount of time, actually.
Well, I got on a roll and I just kept going.
Yeah. You kept going. It's worked out. I like the I'm liking the Hal Prince glasses on the head look.
Well, you try and look like your idols. Yeah.
So hey, it's nice out now. You know what I mean? Like we're getting some nice weather.
Yeah.
We've had a few months of you've had quite a few months, so we're going to talk about that. But what are you doing for Memorial Day weekend? I mean, it's going to be
Rebecca and I are thinking about maybe going to our place in Pennsylvania. We've got a little getaway. Oh, you were there.
I've been there. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a little place. We've got about an acre on a lake, and we're going to probably go out there maybe tomorrow or late tonight. Maybe we'll steal away. We'll see. But that's the plan right now, because being in the city is lovely, and we've got a lot of things going on here, of course. But you want to get a change of scenery and enjoy the quiet and the beautiful weather, and enjoy the air and the lake and the animals and all that kind of thing. The bear we can do without. But the deer going by and
there's bear action?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one time Rebecca and I were on the lawn, and our neighbor came driving down the driveway in his pickup truck, and said, "There are two enormous bears coming right for you." And I was like slow and cautious, because I don't want to, I didn't want to distract them. But my wife ran. You've never seen a soprano run so fast. She ran right for the deck and made it up there. I mean, in like 3 seconds, and we weren't close to the deck, but she really took off and she made it. And I was more cautious. And by the way, the bear were ginormous.
Really?
They were huge. So, wow. But, they were just doing their thing, being bears.
I have a glass front door at my house, and one day I came down the steps and there was a baby bear right on the other side of the glass door.
Oh yeah,
just like kind of looking in the house, like what's happening in there.
Yeah,
and luckily it left, and Mama didn't show up. But yeah,
you're lucky.
Yeah, very lucky. So let's talk about this. You came down with COVID-19. That was sort of you. And we were all very worried about you. God, it was kind of like, it's kind of like when you put a recognizable face onto it, because it was pretty early on that you were sick. And can we talk a little bit about that journey and how bad it was? And can you just sort of give us a brief recap of that?
Well, it was about a week after Broadway closed down honestly, it was like 4 days after Broadway closed down, I started having symptoms.
Right.
And I just want to mention that our producers actually closed our show earlier than everybody else, because they were worried for the welfare of our company. And I applaud them for that. I really just wanted to say that. They were very proactive about taking care of everybody in that building. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then about 4 days after Broadway closed down, I started having symptoms. And of course, I was talking to my doctors, and they said, as long as you don't have issues breathing, you're okay. And then all of a sudden I had issues breathing, and I walked myself to the hospital with my son, Zach. And checked myself in, and I knew I'd been tested, but the test never came back. It took like 8 days for the tests to come back.
Right.
And it literally came back from the first test while I was in the hospital.
You're like, I know.
Exactly. I was like, I know. So, but they tested me once they admitted me in the hospital. It took about 20 hours, and I was in this isolation booth in the emergency room. And once they tested me, they came in, and a nurse, 20 hours later, she came in and said, well, you tested positive for a COVID-19. Are you an organ donor? And I thought, oh, wow, this is far more serious than, I was allowing myself to believe. I knew it was very serious, but I just didn't think I would go there, that I would get that bad. And then all of a sudden I started getting worse and worse. And they did give me the hydroxychloroquine, and I have no idea what it did. The first day I was like, maybe I feel better. I don't know. I'm not sure. But the second day I took a nosedive, and it was really my worst day. And I had trouble breathing the entire day. I couldn't catch my breath, and thought I was going to, I went to use the little bathroom in my room. And while I was in there washing my hands, I had trouble breathing, and I thought I was going to faint. And I thought, no, this is not the way I want to go. The nurse won't be in for 2 hours, and I'm not going to be found dead in this tiny little bathroom. You have all these conversations.
Sure.
And I did every actory Alexander technique thing I could think of, taking care, loosening the back of my neck and being very calm and trying to get my breath back and breathing, doing stacked breathing, where you start very low and then middle and then high, and walked myself slowly back to my bed, put my oxygen back on, and instinctively turned to my side and laid there breathing, which is what you're supposed to do, but I didn't know that.
Wow.
But I was very lucky that I did do that. My roommate was not as lucky as me that way. He was on a respirator, and he almost died a couple of times, and could just kept coughing, could not catch his breath, and then called me to please call the nurse. Just barely could speak, get nurse, and I heard him coughing, and I was like, does he want me to do something? There's a curtain in between it, so I couldn't quite tell. And so I just ripped off my oxygen, and I ran to the door, and I called. It happened twice where I called the nurses to come in and basically, save his life. And, you're shaking. It's such a scary thing. And he is a fantastic guy. And, it was all around us. Our room was right next to the nurses' station, where all the people called in from their beds in case there was an emergency and they needed the nurses. And so we heard all the people that would call in, and some people, literally some people dying, some people, needing immediate help. And we heard all the people it was like a God mic in all the rooms, where all the nurses, if they were working on you, they suddenly froze, and they would listen to hear whether they had to rush to room 12 or room 13 or whatever. It was a place where people were dying. Wow. And everything was very serious and heavy. And I thought, I'm getting the hell out of here as quickly as I can. And so, when the nurses would come in, they'd go, how are you doing? I'd go, I feel great. I feel wonderful, And when they hooked me up to the oxygen machines to see what my oxygen level was, I'd breathe extra deep so my numbers would go up.
Wow.
And at first it was not good. They were in the 80s, and I needed to get into the 90s in order to be released. And I just kind of willed myself, because I knew if I stayed there, I might not make it out, because I was surrounded by all those people dying or being intubated or taken to the ICU. And I just knew I had to get out of there. And I just got lucky. I did. I know I got lucky. And after 6 days in the hospital, I finally was released, and walked myself home a block and a half. And thank God, slowly started to get better. The toughest part for me has been getting my lungs back.
Right.
because once you've injured your lungs, it takes a very, very long time for them to come back. And it took me about 2 months. Just this week I'm starting to feel normal, which is a long time from when I was in the hospital. And because you're afraid, you're an actor, and your breath is everything, and extended breath is everything. And so it's finally come back, and I'm starting to feel great. And that's the end of that story. I'm doing okay, thank God.
Wow. I mean, thank God is right.
Well, good night.
But yeah, I mean, you haven't been able to sing, and you can't. It's a real recovery. Yeah. How's your wife? How's Rebecca?
She's doing okay.
Rebecca Luker, who we also adore.
Certainly do. She's doing okay. She had a bout with COVID-19 as well, but thank God it was a very short one. She had a little bit of a fever for about 3 days, and a little muscle aches, and then it was gone. So, and that was shortly after I came out of the hospital.
Wow.
And we would have been shocked if she hadn't had it.
Right.
I'm her primary caregiver. And so taking care of her, we've been lifting her and putting her into places, and, feeding her and all the rest of it. So we assumed that she might probably get it, and she did. And thank God. She only had a short bout with it. But she's doing okay. It's a hard road.
Well, she came out and said that she's battling ALS last year.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that immediately coming home from the hospital, I mean, was that just and not being with her in those days you were in the hospital just must have added this whole extra layer to all of this.
Yeah, thank God my son Zach was here to take care of her. It was a very difficult time, no doubt about it. And then finally, when I did get out of the hospital, we made sure that Zach got out of here so he didn't get sick.
Right.
And so then since then, I've been taking care of her, and we get a little bit more help now with some home health care and PT and UT and all that kind of stuff. It's a very difficult illness, but she happens to be the strongest person I've ever met in my life. And I have no idea how she's, moving forward every single day, but she does. And she does with kindness and love and strength, and sometimes, frustration and anger. But she's pushing through. She's pushing through. And she actually just recorded something yesterday, recorded 3 songs, which is kind of fantastic for Project ALS. Again, they're trying to raise money for a new trial drug called Procetin. And so she recorded 3 songs for a little mini concert with Joe Thalken playing at the piano. And Katie Couric is going to interview her next week, and they're going to put it all together, and it's going to sort of be a pay-per-view kind of thing that Project ALS will put together in order to raise money for Procetin. So
amazing.
We're very excited about that because the songs went beautifully yesterday, and so I'm sure people who are on the Playbill.com mailing list. I know they're your competition, but who are on that mailing list will be getting emails about it, and we'll try and put a good word about that out there. And I'll mention it to you again, so maybe you'll mention it to your viewers here.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see it. I love hearing her sing. I've loved hearing her sing forever.
Yeah, and she sings 3 beautiful songs, and Katie Couric has been a fan of hers forever. So that's really nice that she agreed to do the interview with her, and they're doing that next week. So it's kind of exciting. Yeah,
wonderful. I love when you share photos of you guys together. It just warms my heart every time I see you guys.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're taking our walks in Riverside Park now. We're into strolling, but we're having a good time getting out, every other day or so when the weather is beautiful. And now that it's even more beautiful, it's lovely. So look for us in Riverside Park and wave.
Right. So how does it feel to be sort of on pause from your career? It seems like you've always sort of balanced real life and family with a career, and you've sort of been on that back and forth, I feel like.
Yeah.
So is it sort of not that unusual to just have this time off at this point in your career?
It is very unusual to have this time off, and I really wish I didn't. And I'm sure everybody who was working or was looking forward to a job is missing the cash flow coming in.
Sure.
And also just missing being creative. That hurts part of your soul as well. And I think, and in fact, I'm sure that people will be starved for art and for theater and for storytelling by the time this all goes away. And I know things will come back strong. And I can't wait to be back and, have that experience. There's an experience that live theater gives you that, that no other experience gives you.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to be back there. I can't wait to go back to a museum. I can't wait to go back to the Met and the Guggenheim and the Frick. And I love art, and it's weird having it sort of blocked off right now.
Right.
That side of things. But having said that, I admire all the people who've been so creative online. Putting things together. I look forward to seeing that thing from Matilda, because I thought that song was so sweet, When I Grow Up. When I saw that show, I thought, what? This is the sweetest song I've ever heard. And I actually went home and listened to it like 7 times in a row, sitting there crying.
Yeah,
it's such
of course. Yeah.
All those people who are putting art out there, trying to find new ways to do it.
Yeah.
My hat is off to all of them.
Cool. Have you been like reading or watching random TV shows and
watching random TV and watching old movies and watching a couple of new things. We loved Unorthodox on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's great.
We loved it, we really did. And some old movies as well. And we're just watching The Miracle Worker and and I take taking care of my wife and I've been cooking. I feel like I've cooked 9 zillion dinners since the last time I saw you. And I mean I like to cook in the past, but now
your wife is an incredible cook.
She's a wonderful cook.
Right.
She really is, but she hasn't gotten a chance to cook as often. Because
so is she helping you cook? Is she helping?
Is.
Okay. She's giving you tips and
yes, and giving me instructions when I need them, which is often,
Right.
So she's really, and she just got a new wheelchair, which is a new souped up wheelchair, which is fantastic because it not only reclines fully, it also goes 18 inches. So she can actually get up to the counter now at the
it raises up. That's
exactly right. Yeah.
Wow,
it's amazing, and she's as tall as I am in this wheelchair.
I love that.
Yeah, so she's there with the cutting board doing stuff, cutting up whatever vegetables for salad or whatever. So she is very much still the boss, and taking good care of me, and I'm trying to take good care of her.
That's wonderful. Will you show what's over your shoulder? Do you mind? I know you like being humble, but
I do like being.
You're actually a big Broadway star, and what big Broadway stars get? What do you get? You get a Sardi's caricature.
Sardi's caricatures. That's Becca's.
And then look at that. Because when you get a Sardi's caricature, you get one for yourself as well. Correct.
They give you an exact copy.
I love
exactly
it.
Right. And the rest is that also.
Tony nominations. You know about Tony nominations.
No.
Well, award season is like right now. We all would have been so in the thick of who knows what, right?
Getting ready to perform on doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
I know.
Yeah, all the new shows generally get a chance to do that. And that would have been a lot of fun. And it's yes, as you know, it's nonstop. You guys, I can't even imagine what your schedule is like during that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's a huge commitment, but it's also unbelievably exciting, of course.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
You know, so
Showbiz.
I miss all that. I really do. I miss all that kind of stuff. And the best part, I guess, is seeing your friends, you know, because the Broadway community is really kind of a small, tight-knit community.
Yeah.
You know, every year, new people come in, which is a beautiful thing. But there are a lot of people you just see over and over again.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you work with people, they become family.
Yeah.
And you get very close. And then you may go on to another show, but those people are still, you know, really close to you in your heart.
Yeah.
And you love them, but you just don't get to see them as often as you'd like. And then all of a sudden, in these kinds of situations, you see them often. And it really is heartwarming.
I'm pretty sure you're one of the most liked people in this industry. I know that. Caitlin agrees.
I very much agree with that. Yes.
Do you have any questions you want to share, Rita?
Yeah. Well, just looking at the comments, everyone is just, you know, saying how happy they are to see that you are healthy and that you're safe. What is it? How does it feel for you to just know that you had so many people rooting for you during that time, and then you wrote that beautiful piece about your experience, just knowing how many fans you have from different shows supporting and rooting for you and your family?
Well, you don't even realize how many people are really out there rooting for you and thinking those lovely thoughts for you. I wrote that piece because Sarah Rule said, you know, you should write about your experience. And she's a friend, and she said I should do that. And I thought, okay, you know, just to memorialize it. There were so many little details that I didn't want to forget, and actually so many details that I did forget to write about, even in the short amount of time from when I wrote it. And after it got published, I didn't even mean for it to be published. I sent it to a few friends, and Bart Shear read it. He's one of my dear friends, and he said, "This has to be published. We're going to send it out." And then one thing led to another, and then David Rooney in the Hollywood Reporter said, "Yes, absolutely. I want to publish this, and it'll be done on Monday." I was like,
amazing.
Wow. And then the floodgates opened, and all these people started reaching out, and people were saying they were using the article to send to their relatives or their friends for them to see that this really was a thing.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't anticipate. I thought everybody knew to be smart about it and wear masks and take good care and do social distancing and isolate. But apparently everybody is not of the same opinion on that. And if the article helped people to see that it was real, I'm happy about that, and I hope it helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So Brittany on Facebook wants to know, what has been your most favorite experience of Moulin Rouge so far?
Well, I have to go back to the fact that it's such an amazing company. It is. The people in Moulin Rouge are crazy ass talented. Crazy talented. I mean, everybody in the show could be a star of a Broadway show. They're all that crazy talented, and they've all got things going on the side. Like they're all making movies here, and they're directing this and directing that, and choreographing things. And I'm floored by this company, and the fact that it's one of those companies where that doesn't happen all the time, where everybody's wonderful, and it's a really lovely family. Yeah, and they're smart people and talented and kind, and they get it. You know, it's a job, and they come in and work hard, and it's a beautiful work ethic. And I think that comes from our two leads, Karen and Aaron, who are so good at what they do and set such a wonderful example.
Agreed. I love those two.
They're the best. All right, I think we can do one last question. So Brian on YouTube is saying, I'm wondering how many times it took for you to get your first Broadway show and what your audition processes are like, or some recent ones.
My audition recent, well, I auditioned for a lot of Broadway shows and didn't get them. And I had done summer stock with the actor Tony Randall, who I loved and who was a mentor to me. And we had done summer stock 2.5 years before my first Broadway show. And he said to me that he was thinking about doing a repertory company on Broadway, calling it the National Actors Theater. And we got along famously when we were working together. And I said, well, look, if you ever do that on Broadway, have a National Actors Theater repertory company, I would love to be there. So please, let me know. And he said, I'll do that. And 2.5 years later, I picked up the phone and I heard, Danny, Tony Randall, and there he was. And he was asking me to be a part of the company.
Yeah.
No audition, no nothing. He said he would decide where I would fit in that season and the next season. And he would, make things work. But he wanted me for that particular show. It was a Feydeau farce called A Little Hotel on the Side with Tony and with Lynn Redgrave, and also another guy making his Broadway debut, Rob Lowe, in the company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
A hell of a lot of fun. Tom Moore directed it, who directed the original Grease and Night Mother. And we had a hell of a time. We laughed our asses off. It was really, really great.
I love it. Well, I'm glad they let you go to Broadway, because what would Broadway be without Danny Burstein? Come on.
That's what I tell my wife all the time.
Oh, Beth, is there anything you're dying to know about Danny?
No, I'm just really happy to see his face. I'm very happy.
That's how we all
Right
feel.
back at you all.
Yeah.
And give Rebecca our love too.
I will.
Yes, please. Always send your love to her, our love to her, and your love to her. You already do that. Have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. Enjoy. Grill up everything. Enjoy.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Hey, Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another fun week of Live at 5 Home Edition, live on both Facebook and YouTube. You can follow us along where we get your podcast by searching for hashtag Live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Have a great long weekend. Go outside, but wear your mask. Stay 6 feet away from everybody, and we'll see you on Tuesday.